Annual report, a 300-400 pager document that people scare a lot, students scare a lot when we ask them to prepare for interviews. But my friends, it is merely 60-70 pages that you need to read. So in this video, let's learn how to read an annual report purely from the standpoint of learning and cracking interviews. My friends, it's a warning that this video does not encourage you to invest or trade on the basis of the information shared in this video. Let's begin. The first and the foremost thing that you need to learn and read is the chairman's statement. But it can be a chairman's statement, it can be a CEO statement, it can be an MD statement, or statement of all three personnel. I think you should go through the management statement. It gives you how the business is being run, the direction in which business is going, and what they see themselves doing in next 5 to 10 years. Learn and pick key content and key statistics and data that they present in their statements. I think most of the chairman statement and MD statements do not exceed more than two pages, 2 to 3 pages. So it's very easy to read these 3 pages, and you just need to read the key statistics. For example, if they're showing you that the company has been growing at 7% CAGR, or if the turnover has been increasing at 5% year on year, I think these are the facts that you should underline and put it on a piece of paper so that you do not have to flip through those 300-400 pages of statement again. The second thing, which generally is being placed in the first 30-40 pages of the annual report, is the financial highlights, which speaks about how the company has been doing from last 5 years. It has all the financial matrices mentioned, all the KPIs mentioned, for example, dividend per share, or maybe EBITDA or net profit year on year, percentage wise, revenue growth, OPEX growth, CAPEX growth, production. So these are certain parameters that they write in the initial first 30 pages, and you will get a financial highlight section separately. I think you should go through the financial highlight section. It actually clarifies almost 50% of the annual report and how the business is being doing fundamentally. The third thing that you should definitely go through, and the most important one, is the board report, and other than board report, rather it is management discussion and analysis, MDA. I'm sure you must have read this in your curriculum as well. So if we look at the MDA is a very long statement or a section of any annual report. The entire MDA is divided in 3 different parts. The first part of it speaks about how that particular sector is doing globally, how it is doing in India, or the geography in which the company operates predominantly, or the geography in which you exist, and how they are doing in comparison to vis-a-vis other competitors and globally, right? So this is the first part of the management discussion analysis. I think if you're preparing for any IB role or a core finance role, it is important to read this part. Other than that, this actually doesn't, I would not suggest you to read this part, merely from the interview standpoint, other than if it is an IB role interview. The second part speaks about the financials. So the management actually comments on how each and every line item in the balance sheet, P&L, and their operating performance operations actually behave. They will probably speak on how the revenue is increasing or decreasing, the profit increasing, decreasing, or any expenditure is increasing or decreasing, why they have paid more dividend or less dividend, what all new projects they are taking up, what is there in the pipeline, what is the book size. It speaks about all these things. I think it is the most important section that you need to read, which is the financial part of it. If you feel like not reading the annual report, at least you should go through this section at least. The third part of it probably will speak about the regulatory compliances, for example, the corporate governance norms and investor relationship section, and POSH and all the other audit committee, etc., etc. You can completely give it a skip in case if you're preparing for an interview. However, if you have time and you can read it, please go ahead and read it, right? The next important section, and the most important one, as good as probably MDA, is your financials. By financials, I mean balance sheet, P&L, cash flow statement, statement of changes in equity, and notes to accounts. Now, I cannot teach you in merely a short video how to read each and everything, but I can definitely give you an insight which will help you to read it by yourself. If you're a chartered accountant or a finance professional reading it and appearing for the interview, you should definitely go through the audit report you should definitely go through the audit report and check out the key audit matters and the opinion stated by the auditor. That is, for chartered accountants, it is very, very important. Now, if we speak about the balance sheet, the simple way to do it is just do a horizontal and vertical analysis of the balance sheet. By horizontal analysis, I mean that you need to check how a particular line item in the balance sheet, P&L and cash flow statement is moving with respect to its previous year figure. Let's say if there is any movement which is very unusual, you should definitely check that up. And in case if the amount is big enough to check, you should definitely go through these notes to accounts, schedules and accounting policy to have a better understanding of it. We should also analyze our financial statements from the vertical point of view, like the vertical analysis of it. Now, what do I mean by vertical analysis? It means analyzing a particular line item with respect to a very related line item. For example, if we are checking sales, we can always check the closing stock. If we are checking purchase, we can always check the inventory. If we are checking sales, we can also check the debtors, the operating income. So these are certain things that we can check. Let's say we can also check out how much of our assets are on lease and how much of our assets are owned. So within the same year, if you are doing any sort of analysis, that sort of analysis is called as vertical analysis. So I think if you are reading any annual report, especially the financial statements of it, you should do analysis from the horizontal as well as the vertical standpoint. Now, speaking of the cash flow statement, checking the cash flow from operating activity becomes very crucial. Compare it with the P&L statement and you will get a good idea. And apart from that, as far as the cash flow from investing activity and financing activities are concerned, I'm sure you must be understanding that it should as far as investing activity is concerned, you need to check the movement of where the investments are coming from and where we are investing our money. Definitely it should be in the negative figure. In case if it is positive, it can be a red flag, but not necessarily, but it is generally considered to be a red flag. Apart from balance sheet, P&L, cash flow statement, you should also check the statement changes in equity for in case if there is any bonus shares issued or any stock splits or any ESOPs being issued, which gives you a good idea about the capital structure of the company. For example, you can also check out ROCE, ROE, and other capital related metrics, debt equity ratio, right? This is what you can check. Now, the question comes, should we read the standalone financial statement or should we read the consolidated financial statement? My suggestion would be to go through the consolidated one, but in the standalone financial statement, you should go through the key ratios, because generally you won't find it in the consolidated financial statement, that you're going to find it in the standalone part of it. So do go through it properly, the key ratios, right? It is very important to know the key ratios. Apart from that, you should also go through the notes to accounts. It actually discloses what all accounting policies the company is following. Are they consistent in their accounting policies or not? And has there been any change from the last year? It also helps you to revise your curriculum well, because it is the same content that they're going to write in their notes to accounts which you have studied in your curriculum. So all in all, if we look at it comprehensively, if you read this much of annual report, you are ready for your interviews. Generally, they ask two types of question in interviews. Have you gone through our annual report? That's a straight question. And second, that they ask, why do you want to join this organization? I think reading annual report can answer both of them. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this was an insightful video for you. See you next time.